My question to you is, what is a piece of financial advice you would give somebody who's just coming up or trying to become financially successful?
Just because you can afford something, it doesn't mean you should.
All right. Anything else?
Don't spend beyond your means.
Good, good. Give me more.
Don't use a bunch of credit cards.
Ooh, I like it.
Yeah, you'll never get. It's hard to dig yourself out of that whole interest.
What else? Saving?
Yeah, always save.
Save or invest?
Both.
Okay, why?
Both. Well, you need to be able to have, some money in like a money market account that's a low interest bearing, but that you can get your hands on if you need to get some money. But always, always invest for your future too, unless you want to work forever.
But you've retired.
I retired at 47.
Yeah. Congratulations. I got to go slave. Get to work. I got to go check out the house. And I want to talk to you about some of the money lessons I've learned from being broke to millionaire. I used to be a millionaire, and then I built a really expensive house that I shouldn't have built. But let's go in, shall we? Dream home, right? The whole goal for this house was dream home. I'm never moving again. It's just turning out, honestly, like amazing, better than I ever dreamed. And it's getting exciting now. Now that I'm over all of the like, oh my God, it cost how much and what? Oh, why did I? Exactly. It's getting a lot more fun. And the fact that I know kind of like what the total is going to be, and I've got kind of like the light at the end of the tunnel, it's getting a lot more like, okay, I can kind of breathe, because this whole project is so over budget. If I would have known then at the start how much this was going to cost, I wouldn't have done it. I would have been like, I can't afford to do that. But over the past like 3 years that I've really been like designing and then building, I've been saving. Like I've been living below my means, and I've been saving for this project. So today, what I'm going to do is actually go over some of the money lessons that I've learned that I wish I knew sooner, or I've learned over the years from starting like here and now building, a really badass house that's paid for in cash. All the real estate I own is paid for in cash, which most people would say is a horrible idea. But for me, I sleep better at night. I also am not using that money and making somebody else rich, because when you have high interest debt or debt in general, you're making somebody else rich. All right, so here's the studio today, all right? We've got a drain box on top of a box of mortar, and then look at that. I just got that installed. It's a nice big, like 800-pound limestone mantle. Actually, the mantle's going up here. That is the hearth, and the mantle's going to be awesome. Anyway, you don't care. You don't care about my mantle, do you? But let's talk about money. So the first money lesson I learned at a very young age, but I didn't realize I learned it until actually later on in my life, and that is, you need financial role models around. So as most of you guys know my story, right? I grew up, poor. My mom was really young when she had me. My dad was really young. They were like 20 years old, right? They had me, and we were struggling, right? We were on welfare, and it was not the best situation in terms of finances. But the worst part about growing up poor, it's not having access to things or not being able to buy things. It's not having information or being surrounded by people that actually understand money and how to use it and leverage it in order to make more money, right? All the people that I grew up with, including like my classmates, because I grew up, in a very blue collar area. Nobody that I knew had money, all of my friends, they didn't have money. Their parents didn't have money. I just understood that I had less money than them. It's not that I didn't have like all of my like basic needs met. I did, but there was never any extra money around. So anyway, I won't tell you the pizza story, because you guys called me out when I go back to my $1.25 pizza story. But anyway, and so the worst part about growing up in that environment is that you don't have information or role models to model yourself after financially, right? I didn't have people that I could look at and be like, oh, they're saving, or oh, they're investing, or oh, they're buying real estate. Everybody that I knew was just working paycheck to paycheck to paycheck, all right? And you will never escape that debt, right? Or I should say, you'll never escape the cycle unless you change things. It's about educating yourself about money and how it works. That is the first lesson, and something that I wish I did earlier on, because if I had, I would have started like saving more when I was younger, right? Unfortunately, it's taken me many years to realize, you know what, stupid? You need to save more. You probably also shouldn't invest all your money in real estate. I've got a lot of my wealth in real estate, whether or not it's rental properties, my office, the salon, this house, the house that I live in right now, or some other assets that I own. For me, I just understand and love real estate. All right. The second lesson is buy real estate if you can. So let me give you an example. All right. So the house that I live in now, I built that for myself. At the time, I paid $1.2 million for that. I'm about to put it on the market, and over the course of the past 5 years, it's appreciated. I'm going to be selling it for around like $2.3 million. So literally, I have gained like $1 million of equity in that house by just basically building a house. I didn't do it on purpose. It just kind of happened. All right, another example, the salon. The salon I bought for $730,000. I put additional money in. All in, I've got about $1.2 million into that salon. Well, it appraised for $3.1 million, right? Which means I basically have made like almost $2 million on that asset in literally like 4 years. And the same thing happened to my mom's house that I bought, right? I have like $600,000 in it. It's valued now at $1 million. I've got another office that I leased out to a wealth management company. I bought that for $330,000. It now is basically valued at $1 million. Real estate just keeps like appreciating over time, right? And so it's one of those things that, I just understand and I love and I was able to do. Now, most people can't go out and just buy or pay cash for something, so you need to make sure that you have good credit, which is the next lesson. Lesson number 3 is have and protect your credit. When you're young, you don't think about this. The first thing I got when I left for college, West Virginia University, like day one, I'm walking like a freshman idiot, right? And some dude's like, hey, bro, you're jacked. They didn't say that, but they said, hey, you want a credit card? We'll give you $500 limit on it. I'm like, $500? Fuck yeah, let's do this. I went, I signed up, two like weeks later, I had a credit card. Do you think I was responsible with that thing? The answer is no. And I didn't pay my bills. I'm like, whatever, right? And finally, like my parents or my mom, got emails, or not even emails. She got calls from the credit card because you had to put your references down. And she's like, hey, he's got this credit card and it's got, this balance. And now like he's got bad credit because he wasn't paying it for literally like a year. And so I had to build my credit back up. All right. I did. By basically getting my ass kicked by my mom and saying, don't ever do that. Give me your credit card. I'm tearing it up. And then it started to build back up. But then when I filed bankruptcy, after my fitness center failed, like once again, my credit was like super low. It was in the gutter. And then I started to build it back up responsibly. And that's the thing I want to say. And basically like the 4th lesson or 5th, I'm going to lose track of the lessons, and that is you can build your credit up. Just because right now you might not have good credit, it's about having a plan. It's about executing that plan. And so when I ended up getting a new credit card after my bankruptcy, because literally on like day one, once your bankruptcy is like expunged, your credit card agencies are sending you offers because they know you can't file bankruptcy for the next like 7 years, right? And they also know that you're willing to pay 18, 20% interest just to have access to credit. And so I did. I took it, and over the years, I think it was a Capital One card, I just started to build my credit. I'd buy something on it, I'd pay it off, and I'd just do that. I'd repeat that cycle. Wash and rinse. That's it. It's going to help you build your credit, because when you want to buy an asset or get a loan, if you've got good credit, you're going to it's going to help you save money, because if you got bad credit, they'll still loan you money. Some people won't, but a lot of people will. You're just going to pay through the ass in terms of how much interest you're going to pay. And remember, interest is just making them rich. The next lesson that I wish I learned sooner was you don't need everything that you want. Being able to determine which is really important, all right? And basically, a lot of times you'll buy something and at the moment, like you'll be like also like pumped up and like, oh, this is awesome. I can't live without those sneakers or whatever, or that car, right? You've got to think about it financially. Does it make sense? All right. And then the next lesson is live below your means. And that is the one that I can't stress enough. All right. What happens is, when you start making a little bit more money, a lot of times your cost of living increases exponentially or at the same rate. Some people, it actually exceeds that. And when it exceeds it, that means you're taking money off of credit cards and you're literally going to start the vicious cycle all over. All right, for me, it was a very sobering thing when I went through bankruptcy. It was like, well, first off, up until that point, I was literally making like $24,000 a year in my fitness center. I was making no money. I've been broke since the age of 0. right? But once I started to make more money, it was like, okay, this is cool, but I was so scared and gun shy about getting into a bad financial situation. And I also said to myself, if I ever have to file bankruptcy, or if I said, when I filed bankruptcy, I will never get into a financial bad position again. I will pay cash for things. If I can't afford it, I don't buy it. And that's the next thing, right? If you can't afford something, don't buy it. Now, it doesn't mean that you have to try to save up like all your money for, to pay for a house or a car in cash, but you, right? You also know what your budget is. You've got to make sure that you are saving. You got to make sure you are investing, which brings me to the next thing I wish I knew sooner, and that is invest. Stupid. Live below your means and take that extra cash and invest it into some type of something, right? That's bearing you better than like zero interest that you're going to get in like a checking account, right? Scared money don't make money. All right. There's that old saying, right? And you've got to be willing to stomach some risk. But over time, by investing, even if it's in something like the stock market, the S&P, getting a Vanguard account, setting it up and just putting $500, like whatever it is, every single week, every single month, every single year, you're putting it away. Over time, it will grow, right? Now, depending on when you want to take it out, if there's a dip or whatever, you can't time things. And that's the other thing you got to understand. And for me, the next lesson is by the time I hear about something, it's too late. And what I mean by that is there are a lot of things that are very fad-centric, right? Whether or not it's like cryptocurrency or multi-level marketing or whatever, right? For me, what I've learned over the years is if I don't understand something, don't invest in it. I also learned that, like I said, by the time I typically hear about something, it's probably too late, which brings me to the real lesson in all of this. It's not fast. It's also not easy, all right? Making money, it's time tested, right? The fundamentals still work, right? It's about making it, it's about living below your means, it's about investing it where you can, and it's about being smart and not being too impulsive and delayed gratification, which is another part of this. You've got to be able to put off until later what you want now. And by doing this, you're going to be in a much better position and hopefully someday be able to pay cash for a big multi-million-dollar house like I am. And I'm not saying that to brag, I'm just saying that to inspire you, right? If I can do this, you can do it because I'm not that smart. One of the things that I did though that was smart, and this is another financial lesson, is start a business, start a side hustle, all right? I cannot stress to you enough. If you are going to try to get rich by working a W-2 wage job, you are never going to get there. Unless you're like a CEO or some super upper level, or you're in sales, chances are your earning potential is capped. But when you start a business or a side hustle, it's unlimited. And that's one of the things I just want you to understand. If you haven't checked out the White Label Empire, real quick, I'll link it down below. Join us. Right? Invest in yourself. That community is literally the best thing I've ever done. And the reason why I say that is because I am helping people realize their dreams. All right? I've realized mine, right? I still need to work. I still enjoy work. And I still love what I do, but I want to help other people. I feel like that is why I've been put on this earth. And, there's nothing more valuable or just fulfilling than being successful and being able to buy your mom a house or whatever, or just being able to take care of the people that you love and be the guy is pretty awesome. I'll link down below to the Empire community if you guys want to check it out. I also am going to link to the accelerator program that you guys can apply to. It is an application process, and the reason for that is pretty simple. I need to make sure that you are in a position that you can actually execute the plan and what we're actually telling you to do and helping you do. If you're now just being I don't know, I'm thinking about, no, nothing like that. You need to have an idea of what your business is going to be, or you're along the journey and the path so that we can help you and I don't waste your time or mine. The next thing I would like to tell you in terms of a lesson I learned the hard way is that ego, it'll get you in trouble. And what I mean by that is when you allow your ego to dictate basically what you do, what you buy, or how you live your life, or how you invest, or how you spend money, you're going to be in trouble. A great example of this is cars, right? I don't have a great track record with automobiles, right? Some guys are car guys, I'm not. But when I started to make a little bit extra money, I'm like, I need a nice car. Why do I need a nice car? Because a nice car shows that I'm successful. It was an ego thing. And so I got my M4, right? And it was awesome, but it was really expensive. And then when that lease was up, and I leased for reasons, I don't need to explain that on this video, because a lot of people feel like that's a stupid idea. You should buy your car. Yes, I'm not disagreeing with that. But for me, it makes sense. So anyway, my second vehicle then, after the M4, I didn't really love it. I'm like, I can't go down. I need to go up, because if I'm going down, that's admitting to myself or to other people or whatever that I'm not as successful. And so I need to keep going, keep getting bigger. And that was a huge mistake. I didn't end up liking that car. And then I was like, wait a second. That's stupid. It was my ego driving the decision, and I was wasting a ton of money in the process. And so then, boom, I got my X6, less expensive, and then boom, a little bit lower. My 4 Series that I'm driving now, but my car payment is manageable, right? I've wasted so much money trying to basically facilitate my ego, and that is a dangerous place. And I'm, kind of embarrassed to say that. And I guess when I'm looking around at this house, I don't know what this is. This is probably my ego, but it's also just something that I love. And so life is short. That's the other thing. And I guess maybe the place I'd like to wrap things up. Life is short, man. You got to do something that you love. If you're in a job that you hate, or you're doing something that doesn't fulfill you, or you don't enjoy the people that you're around, like, what are you doing, right? Life is short. I've had a lot of people over the course of the past few years pass away that were very dear and close to me. And I think about that. You can't take it with you. I'm not saying that you should do stupid things or get into financial trouble, but you can't take it with you. And there isn't a loophole. Nobody's figured out how to basically get out of this world alive. You're going to die sometime. And so the best you can hope for is to do what you love and be around people that you love and help other people. But for me, one of the other things that I've really enjoyed is being successful. I've been poor as hell. Like, I've been less than poor. I've been broke as fuck, right? And I've been not broke as fuck. And I can tell you that not broke as fuck is a lot better than broke as fuck. It's not easy, and money doesn't solve your problems. It also can't make you healthy, all right? You have access when you have cash or a little extra money to better things, better food, better health care. But if you're not healthy, it's the only thing that matters, honestly. Number 1, health is your number 1 most valuable asset. Without it, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what car you drive, how many spicy ass senoritas you're hooking up with. I almost said banging. I can't say that. Or the house that you live in, even if your house is like super badass and sexy. It's just awesome, and I'm loving it. And like I said, if this is how I choose to spend my hard-earned dinero and get the most satisfaction, value, and happiness out of it, that's how I choose to do it. What about you? What is something that you would spend your millions on? Down below, let me know.